hope you all had a lovely Easter and were able to have a bit of a break and enjoy some of the nice weather as well, in spite of these strange circumstances we're in at the moment. I'm back to making videos on this channel. For the next couple of weeks at least, it's going to be a little bit different to the videos I was doing before. Monday to Thursday, it's going to be a video to support your maths work for that day, and then because your maths work on Friday is kind of a roundup of what you've learnt that week, I'm going to be doing my own Friday roundup where I'm going to be sharing some of the lovely work that's been sent in by you over that week. So without further ado, let's get into the maths video for today. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at multiplication and division, and this presentation is called Twins. Now it might be worth making notes as I go through this lesson. We're going to be multiplying and dividing mentally using doubling and halving, understanding that halving numbers means dividing them by 2, understanding that doubling numbers means multiplying them by 2, and using partitioning and recombining to halve and double numbers which have up to 4 digits and numbers with decimals. Twins in training. Haruki and Taru look very similar but are very different. Taru loves running and is really good at it. He runs twice as far as his twin brother Haruki. If Haruki runs 2.5 kilometers in 30 minutes, how far does Taru run in half an hour? That's 5 kilometers because you need to double Haruki's distance, and 2.5 doubled is 5 kilometers. If Taru keeps his pace the same, estimate how long it will take him to run a total of 7.5 kilometers. So the answer to that one is that it will take him 45 minutes as he runs half as far again. If Haruki keeps his pace the same, how long would it take him to run another 5 kilometers? It would take about an hour as 5 kilometers is double 2.5 kilometers. How did you work out the answers to these problems? You used doubling and halving. So, looking at doubling more closely, to double a number we multiply it by 2. When working with larger numbers, we can partition them, multiply them, then recombine to make our answer. We can remember this as PCR, partition, calculate and recombine, and we're going to be looking at this more closely during the rest of the week as well. Can we use PCR to double 342? Partition first, so 342, you partition it into 340 and 2. You might remember we did this at right back at the start of year 5. Then you need to calculate it, so double 300 equals 600, double 40 equals 80, and double 2 equals 4. And then you recombine that number, so 680 and 4 is 684. So double 342 is 684. We don't need to write this down, we should be able to work it out in our heads. Then, looking at halving, to halve a number, we divide it by 2. When working with larger numbers, we can partition them, divide them, then recombine to make our answer. We can remember this as PCR, partition, calculate and recombine, like we looked at on the other slide. And we can use PCR to find half of 6,328. First you partition, so we split the number into 6,320 and 8. Then you calculate it, so half of 6,000 equals 3,000, half of 300 equals 150, half of 20 equals 10, and half of 8 equals 4. Then you recombine it, so 3,000 add 150, add 10, add 4 is 3,164. So half of 6,328 is 3,164, and hopefully we don't need to write this down, we should be able to work it out in our head. So now it's your turn to have a go. Can you work these out in your head using PCR? Start at the end of the arrow and move towards the tip. How far can you get before they become too difficult to work out mentally? So you've got a mixture of doubling and halving here, and I'd like you to just pause the video quickly and have a go at doing them yourself. How did you get on? Let's have a look at the answers. So double 92, 184, half of 64 is 32, double 176 is 352, half of 642 is 321, double 5,632 is 11,264, half of 6,454 is 3,227, double 9,452 is 18,904, half of 8,644 is 4,322, double 15,232 is 30,464, and half of 98,452 is 49,226. So hopefully you were able to use partition, calculate and recombine that we've just looked at to work out the answers to these questions. Now we're going to look at decimals. Haruki and Taru are thirsty after their run. Their cups hold 188.5 millilitres of squash each. How much squash do they need to make? So how do we solve their problem? We need to double 188.5 millilitres. What do you do if the number contains a decimal? Well, you partition the decimal too. Can you work this out in your head using PCR? So have a go before we look more in depth at it. So partition 188.5 is 180, add 8, add 0.5, and 0.5 is the decimal version of saying 1/2. So then you double 100, which is 200, double 80, which is 160, double 8, which is 16, and double 0.5 is 1, because we know that 2 halves make 1 whole. Then you recombine it, and you're left with 200, add 160, add 16, add 1, which is 377 millilitres. Okay, how quickly can you halve and double these numbers? Watch out, some of them contain decimals. Now I'm not going to click the stopwatch here because you'll just be watching my screen for 2 minutes. So set yourself a timer of 2 minutes and see how many you can do in 2 minutes. Pause the video and we'll go through the answers shortly. How did you do? So half of 638 is 319. Half of 434 is 217. Half of 2001 is 1000.5. Half of 8,253 is 4,126.5. Half of 85.5 is 42.75. Double 3,298 is 6,596. Double 1,025 is 2,050. Double 76.22 is 152.44. Double 521.5 is 1,043. Double 9,010.33 is 18,020.66. So I hope you got most of those right, or as many as you could do in 2 minutes. Well done if you did. And now it's time for you to have a go at your worksheet. So hopefully you will be able to now multiply and divide, or have a better understanding of it mentally using doubling and halving. Okay, so that's that for today's maths lesson. You will find the answers to today's work down in the description box. Please though, do try the problems first before going straight to the answers. Use the answers to check your work and maybe see where you went wrong if your answer doesn't quite match up. As I said, I will be doing a roundup video on Friday of all the lovely work that you're sending in, so do keep that coming into the Year 5 email address, which you'll find on the school website. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!